You know, one of the funniest things about management is it's never something that we ever set out to do. I mean, if you think back to when you were a kid, you're in elementary school, middle school, high school, through college, it's typically not something you're like, oh, I want to be a manager. I want to manage people. I want to get in there and do, you know, that's not it. What happens is you just start to acquire skills and you get skill development. You get interested in your ability to expand your reach beyond what you're able to create with your own two hands, beyond whatever craft or trade or profession that you sought out in the beginning to be just for yourself, right? Like take myself, for example. As a physical therapist in the beginning, I got out of PT school. I took 33 Con Ed courses my first 3 years out because I just wanted to be the best therapist I could be. And then I wanted to train as many people as possible so that they could be the best therapist they could be. Why? Because I wanted to help as many people as possible. I went into the profession of help. My DNA middle strand spells help. I get gratitude and I get great sense of accomplishment and great sense of pride knowing that I've helped another person do better with the situation they have at hand or do better for the rest of their life because of something they learned from me or something they're able to change in their life dynamics that's going to improve their life. Which is why I'm shooting this video, which is why I do my podcast, which is why I created the company I created in Meg Business Management, is how can I help other people become better managers, better organizers, better developers of their own professionalism, their own skill, their own communication, their own commitment, their own level of confront. Because I realized we can't just succeed to the degree that I want to succeed in life by just being a doer, by just doing the thing I was doing, by just thumping the side of a treatment table more hours, more days, more weeks, more months, more years. That wasn't enough for me. I wanted to expand my reach. I wanted to have a greater sphere of influence, and that may be where you are too. So let's talk about management by numbers. Because when we look at management, as I just described, it's not something you set out to do early on in your life, but it's something you develop to do because you realize your greater reach, your greater potential depends on it. It literally depends on your ability to manage. And I want to talk about managing what? Like, what do we have to manage? As I just mentioned a second ago, let's start with numbers. First, you have to be able to manage the financials, the financial numbers of whatever it is you're practicing. I don't care if you're selling pet rocks or window tint or physical therapy. You got different private practices, different therapists working in those practices, different disciplines in those practices. You have to know your numbers. What numbers do you need to know? You need to know your cost per visit. You need to know your collections per visit. You need to know what your net margin is. You need to know what, the percentages of GI divided by staff. You need to know 64 key statistics. I could keep going down the list, but you need to know 64 key statistics in running a successful private practice for physical therapy if you're going to be successful. There's about 64, depending on how you set up your practice, up or down about 10. Other numbers, your performance. You should be able to map out this practice's success on paper first. For the first 3 months I'm open, I'm seeing this number of patients per week. For the next 6 months I'm open, I'm seeing this number of patients per week. For 1 year being open, I'm seeing this number of patients per week. What is my cost for rent? What is my cost for taxes? What is my cost for payroll? Who do I have to hire? Who don't I have to hire? What can I outsource? You have to work this all out on a spreadsheet first. Literally, it's called a pro forma. You have to have that known. Once you know your 64 key statistics, which is what you're going to manage your organization with, and then you can sit down and look at the logistics on paper of what it takes to run a practice, you're going to know if you have what it takes to run a viable practice in the area that you're trying to open in. You have to manage numbers first. Number two, you have to be able to manage yourself. So once you look at that, your pipe dream is out there in front of you. You've got numbers. It proves your theory. It proves your pilot. It proves your idea, your dream, your ideal scene. You can see it in writing. You know how to measure and manage people and things. And so now you can set up your structure, right? But you have to manage yourself. And what do I mean by manage yourself? After numbers, it makes sense. Then you got to manage yourself by holding yourself disciplined to getting the executive training you need to be successful. Because when we move forward from here, you're going to have to manage structure, systems, and personnel. You're going to have to manage structure, systems, and personnel. First, manage the numbers. Make sure it all makes sense. Then go ahead and start spending money to invest in yourself. on being a better manager, a better communicator, having a higher degree of confront, having a higher degree of commitment, being able to gain agreement with others, being able to handle disappointment, being able to handle rejection, being able to just shrug it off and move forward and be like, 9 out of 10 people aren't going to agree with me quitting my job and starting this business, because they just don't. People flock to safety. They flock to security. I'm telling you, you're going to think, oh, I love my parents and I love my grandfather. I love my uncle who's really successful in business. And you go to these people about what you want to do, and I'm telling you, 8 out of 10 of them, if not 9 out of 10, are going to shoot you down. They're going to tell you all the reasons why not to do something, because it's out their reality. It's not what they do. It's not what they know. And they look at what you are doing. You're making $85,000 plus benefits. Why would you ever leave that? You've got everything you want. Well, if you want to live in that prison cell for the rest of your life, hey, that's fine as far as I'm concerned. Hey, some employees love being employees, and that's great, but if you have that entrepreneurial spirit, you have that DNA to succeed in business, that is blissfully discontent for you. That is a blissfully discontent experience for you, to be working for somebody when you know you're capable of more, you know you have more potential, but it's the unknown that is bothering you. It's the mystery in front of you that's holding you back, that's giving you pause, it's limiting your ability to really reach your potential. If you're going to reach your potential, it's because you're going to invest some time and money in yourself. And I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars. It should at least be over $10,000 that you're going to spend in yourself, because you're going to need a lot of training for yourself, your staff. I'm not saying that just because I created Meg Business Management. I'm saying it because I created Meg Business Management because I learned early on that was my mistake. I spent $115,000 on my wife and myself and our skill development as managers, executives, owners, founders, leaders, entrepreneurs. It cost me a ton of money, 3 years of my time. And I said, people don't have to do that. I have to find a way to create a school, an academy, a step-by-step process whereby which somebody can be successful on a fraction of that, like for $10,000, like just a little over that or somewhere in that ballpark, because I was doing it for 10 years for $35,000. So there you go, just to give you a little gauging yourself. You can spend $35,000 to $100,000 like so many people have done. I spent $115,000, or you can spend $10,000 to $15,000 and get exactly laser focused, exactly what you need to succeed in business by enriching yourself, investing yourself. It's not money you put in a BMW and 15 years later it's in a scrap heap. It's money you're putting in yourself that's going to be the gift that keeps on giving. It's going to be the return on your investment through yourself. So this management training YouTube video that I have for you is laying out what do you have to manage and why. Step 1, manage the numbers. Step 2, manage yourself. Step 3, manage the structure. You have to understand, if you have 64 key statistics, those are going to tie into 5 divisions. Your administrative division, your marketing and public relations division, your finance division, your clinical delivery production division, and your executive and quality control division. Every business, whether it realizes it or not, it's got 5 divisions running at any given moment in time, whether they understand it or not. The better you are, just break them up into those separate 5 divisions, have a valuable product, a terminal product, a senior primary result that you're looking for out of each one of these divisions is your responsibility. You literally have to have what we call the primary product of each division. And of course that leads to what the whole purpose is that you're generating for the practice, right? For the business you're setting up. Like, what is the overall mission? Why did you do it? Why is it important to you? That has to be answered in your product for the whole company. But you have to know what those are for each division, and you have to know what the sub-products are for each division, and then you have to assign a statistic for each one of those so you can measure where you are. If you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going. You can't actually map out a successful pathway to live that life that you have envisioned in your head, that ideal scene that you have. I can't tell you what that is. What is it for you, you know? For me, it's like, you know, being able to, when I was treating and I had my private practice, I wanted to treat 15 to 20 hours a week. I wanted to spend the rest of my time with my family, friends, and working on my business, not in my business. And I wanted to actually expand my company so that we had 20% net revenue, 20% net profit or greater year over year, and we had a 15% growth year over year, and we were the practice of the quality of choice, that people absolutely knew that they're going to get the best quality here because we care deeply about the person, not just the diagnosis. So that was what it was for me. I don't know what that would be for you. You have to actually envision that for you. And I also wanted to be like, you know, second to nobody. I wanted to be the practice that had a waiting list that everybody wanted to get into, and everything else was a second choice, right? So once you have that structure in, as I just described, then you got to go with systems. Now today, 2023, moving into 2024, the most important systems of operation for you is, number one, a live, engaging, and active policy and procedure manual that encompasses all of the compliance rules and regulations that you have to comply with, as well as personnel, HR, and everything. That has become a huge thrust in today's world of successful business. Know how to put together a P&P manual. With us and people who actually join Mega Academy, we give you the P&P manual. It's like 100% done, but you're going to change about 15% of it to suit your needs. After you have that, that's kind of the rules of the road, so to speak, in terms of systems of operation. Pay for performance. No question you have to have pay for performance. There's not a surgeon in America that's not paid on a pay for performance model. Why would your therapist be any different? Pay for performance. Why would your staff not be on a low salaried administrative staff? Meaning, if you have the administrative staff, I recommend you don't have any administrative staff, but if you did, low base salary or base pay with bonus pay, and that compilation actually is their exchange in abundance with them. Now they're actually chasing down better performance for greater exchange of abundance. And it's not just about money, it's got to be a solid benefit compensation package as well rolled into that, including education and so on. Pay for performance. The progressive PT practice model is the overarching winning success of today. If you can actually employ that model, and you can go to the website and check that out, I can't get into all the details of that, but it includes, multiple income verticals, 20% cash revenue, and outsourcing all your administrative staff. I proclaim that the best practices in America are only going to have DPTs, PTAs, and techs inside their four walls. Everything else is going to be outsourced because you're only paying for what you use, and you get higher caliber, no turnover, no sick, vacation, holiday, or bad hair days that you're paying for. That all goes away. So that's my message for you. Those are the things when somebody really thinks of management in terms of a PT private practice, you're going to start with the numbers. You're going to then start with yourself, go to yourself. You really have to invest in yourself. You got to establish the right structure. Then you're going to put the systems in. And last but not least, because you have all of those in, you are now capable and able to manage your personnel. Managing your personnel is about aligning yourself with people that share your philosophy, share your vision, share your direction, want to participate in an exchange and abundance relationship. I want to do more, I get compensated more, you do more, you get better results for the practice, for the group. And they don't see themselves as individual, it's all about me's. They see themselves as, I'm a part of a winning team, and the more the team wins, the more we all win individually. If the people that get that, they understand the two-way street that's going on here in this relationship, and those are the people you want to hitch your wagon to and bring into your practice. So there's my overarching definition of management, broken down into the most important elements for you to succeed in private practice.